If you've had a close call standing up lately, this is not a coincidence. It's a warning sign. Maybe you went from sitting to standing a little too fast, and the room tilted just for a second. Maybe your knee buckled slightly getting out of the car and you caught yourself on the door. Maybe you didn't even notice it happening. Someone else did and they said, "Whoa, careful there." You brushed it off. Everyone does. But I want you to stop brushing it off because that moment is your body sending you a message. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what that message is. I'm a physiotherapist, and I've spent years working with older adults on balance and mobility. And I can tell you that the biggest cause of falls in seniors is almost never talked about in the way it should be. Everyone focuses on hazards: the loose rug, the wet bathroom floor, the poor lighting in the hallway. And yes, those matter. But hazards don't cause falls on their own. Your body's ability to react to them is what determines whether a stumble becomes a catch or a stumble becomes a fall. And that ability has a name most people have never heard of: muscle power. Not muscle strength. Muscle power. Stay with me because this distinction is the whole video, and once you understand it, you'll never look at your balance the same way again. Strength is how much force your muscles can produce. Power is how fast your muscles can produce that force. Here's why that matters so much for falling. When you trip, or when you feel yourself tipping backward, reaching for a cabinet, your body has about half a second, sometimes less, to catch itself, not to think about it, not to plan a response, half a second to fire the right muscles, hard to stop you from going down. That's not a strength problem, that's a speed problem. And research in aging and rehabilitation has shown, again and again, that muscle power declines faster than muscle strength as we get older, sometimes twice as fast. You can still have enough strength on paper, enough to stand up, enough to walk across the room, and still lose your ability to catch yourself in time. That's the gap nobody's warning you about. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like in real life. Someone's walking across their kitchen, their foot catches the edge of a cabinet, barely, the kind of catch that 20 years ago they wouldn't have even noticed. Their brain sends the signal, recover now. But the muscles in their hip and ankle can't fire fast enough to make the correction in time. That's not weakness, that's slowness. And that slowness is what turns a non-event into a fall. This is also exactly why those close calls I mentioned at the start matter so much. When you feel yourself sway and just barely catch the counter, that's not luck. That's your power system working, but working right at its limit. Each one of those close calls is a preview of what happens when it doesn't work fast enough. And here's the part that really needs to sink in. This decline is often silent. You don't feel your power dropping day to day because you're not testing it day to day. You feel it exactly in the moments that matter most. When you're already off balance, by the time it shows up, you're already in the danger zone. So why doesn't anyone talk about this? Honestly, because it's a lot easier to hand someone a pamphlet about removing throw rugs than it is to explain a specific physiological training principle. But hazard-proofing your home without addressing your power is like reinforcing the walls of a house while ignoring a crack in the foundation. Both matter. Only one of them actually determines whether you go down when something unexpected happens. Now here's the encouraging part, because this is not a life sentence. Muscle power is trainable at any age. There are well-documented studies showing meaningful improvements in power and fall-related reaction speed in people well into their 80s and 90s. The key is that power training looks a little different from regular strength training. It's not about lifting something heavy slowly. It's about moving with intent and speed in a way that's still completely safe and controlled. Let me give you 3 things you can start doing, and I want to be clear. These should be done near a sturdy chair, counter, or wall for safety. And if you have any balance condition, heart condition, or joint issue, please check with your doctor or physiotherapist before starting anything new. The first is the sit to stand, done with intention. Instead of pushing yourself up slowly from a chair, sit toward the front of a sturdy chair and stand up as smoothly and purposefully as you comfortably can, then sit back down with control. You're not slamming up out of the chair. You're standing with more intention than usual. 10 repetitions, once or twice a day, trains exactly the muscle power you use every single time you get up from sitting, which, by the way, is one of the most common moments a fall happens. The second is heel raises with a quicker rise. Standing at the counter for support, rise up onto your toes at a normal pace, then lower slowly. The controlled speed on the way up is what builds ankle power. And your ankles are your first and fastest line of defense when you start to tip. The third is a step touch, or what I sometimes call a recovery step drill. Standing near support, take a small, quick step out to the side and bring your foot back. This mimics the actual motion your body uses to catch itself during a stumble. You're essentially rehearsing the recovery response in a safe, controlled setting, so that when your body needs it in real life, it's not the first time it's ever done that movement. 5 minutes a day, that's genuinely enough to start. Consistency here matters far more than intensity. This is a skill you're keeping sharp, not a muscle you're trying to bulk up. Let's bring this together. The number one hidden reason seniors fall isn't a hazard in the home, and it isn't simply getting weaker. It's the loss of muscle power, the speed at which your muscles can react and catch you when something unexpected happens. That's why those close calls matter. That's why someone can seem fine walking around and still be at real risk. And that's why the solution isn't just clearing rugs and adding grab bars, although please still do that. The real solution is training your body to react fast, on purpose, before life forces the issue. If any of this resonated with you, if you've had one of those close calls yourself, or you're watching this because you're worried about a parent, please talk to a physiotherapist or your doctor about a personalised balance and power assessment. This is exactly the kind of thing that's fixable, especially when you catch it early. And if this video helped you see something in a new way, do me a favour, hit like, subscribe for more evidence-based videos like this one, and share it with someone who's had a close call of their own. It might be the video that changes what happens the next time they lose their footing.